Well, we are in the countdown to February 8th, the day the XFL kicks off. The second iteration of the XFL seems very different than the first time around, in the early 2000s. In this series, we will be going team by team previewing the head coaches of each team, as well as some names you may recognize from either college football or the NFL. I want to preface this with I do not know if these players will be successful, nor do I know if the league will be successful. But when you compare this league to the AAF, where the AAF failed, the XFL will succeed due to the fact Vince McMahon is all in on the league while Tom Dundon was never fully in on the AAF. In this episode, we will be previewing the Seattle Dragons.
Where should I go now? 6 feet under.
The Seattle Dragons will be led by head coach Jim Zorn. Zorn is a former Seattle Seahawks quarterback who played in Seattle from 1976 to 1984. He started 100 games for the Seahawks while playing in 126 games. Zorn went 40-60 as a starter with 107 touchdowns, with 133 interceptions and a completion percentage of 53.3%. After his playing career, Zorn coached under Mike Holmgren in Seattle, mentoring quarterback Matt Hasselbeck. Zorn was the head coach of the Redskins from 2008 to 2009, posting a record of 12-20. Zorn is also known for his work with current Denver Broncos quarterback Joe Flacco when the both were with the Ravens. From early reports, it looks like Brandon Silvers will be taking the reins as the starting quarterback. Silvers played at Troy University, posting a stat line of 10,677 yards, 71 touchdowns, and 29 interceptions, while completing 968 passes on 1,503 attempts, which was a 64.4% completion percentage, while rushing for another 16 touchdowns. Silvers' best year in college was his junior year, where he had his most completions, 293, attempts, 460, touchdowns, 23 touchdowns, but also having his most interceptions, which was 12 interceptions that year. During this year, Troy almost upset Clemson, who was ranked number 2. They lost the game 30-23. Clemson went on to lose the national championship to Alabama. In Silver's senior year, he threw for his most yards total with 3,290 yards, while also having a 63.9% completion rate with 17 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Silver started 3 games for the Memphis Express of the AAF, throwing for 777 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. After the AAF folded, Silvers was signed and waived by the New York Jets in 2019. Silvers will have 2 good running backs around him. The first is Trey Williams, who played at Texas A&M from 2012 to 2014. While A&M, Williams rushed for 1,343 yards on 204 carries, which is a 6.58 yards per carry and 18 touchdowns. Williams was an undrafted free agent who was signed by the Washington Redskins in 2015. Williams jumped from the Cowboys, Patriots, Dolphins, Colts, Steelers, and Cowboys again. He signed with the Toronto Argonauts in 2017 but never played a game. He played 6 games for the San Antonio Commanders of the AAF, where he ran for 205 yards on 40 carries with a 5.12 yards per carry average and 1 touchdown. Williams should be splitting carries with former Houston running back Kenneth Faroe. Faroe rushed for 2,980 yards on 560 carries, which was a 5.6 yards per carry, with 34 touchdowns from 2012 to 2015. Faroe went undrafted in the 2016 NFL Draft, but signed with the, at the time, San Diego Chargers. While with the Chargers, he played in 13 games while starting 2 of them. On 60 rushes, he had 192 yards, a 3.2 yards per carry, with 0 touchdowns, while also having 13 catches for 70 yards. He was then signed and released by the New England Patriots. Faroe then signed with the San Antonio Commanders of the AAF, where he had 106 carries with 372 yards and 4 touchdowns, as well as 12 catches for 95 yards. Faroe had a breakout game in Week 4 of the season, rushing for 142 yards on 30 carries. After the AAF folded, Faroe signed with the Miami Dolphins but was released during final cuts. Other players to look out for include former Packer Joe Callahan, who was a D3 legend and spent time with 7 NFL teams playing quarterback. Former Navy quarterback Keenan Reynolds, who had 4,559 rushing yards and a Division I record 88 career touchdowns in college, will also be on this team and may play quarterback or running back or wide receiver and should be fun to watch. Seattle starts their season February 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern on ABC against the DC Defenders. That's all I have for you folks today. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you want more XFL content as well. We will be doing team previews leading up to the start of the season. Follow me on Twitter at JRO'Brien_28 for all the sports news you want to see and hear and my opinions on stuff. Follow the website embracethegrind.org. We post a podcast twice a week where we talk college football, NFL football, as well as we're going to start talking XFL football on it. Thank you so much, folks, and remember to embrace the grind.